Hi again, everyone. Gary Digital Williams here on Boxing Law and Beltway, our news and notes for this week. And this week we have a lot going on. We have the recap of the weekend's events. We had three boxers in action this past weekend, and we went 1 for 3 this weekend. So we'll talk more about that. We also have an amateur boxing preview, a very special amateur boxing card that's coming in the Beltway this week. And also we have a further update on the TAC Promotions, Putney Promotions card at the Merrick Recreation Center. Just a brief update on that. We also have a number of boxers in action over this coming weekend. So we'll give you all the details on that here on this edition of Beltway Boxing News and Notes, which is brought to you by, as always, real-time pain relief. From boxers to ballerinas, for shoulder pain and muscle strain, everything in between. Boxing Law and the Beltway recommends real-time pain relief, the natural, plant-based, safe, fast, and effective ointment. If you go to freepainoffer.com, buy $10 worth of real-time pain relief, you get a free $10 tube of real-time pain relief. Rub it on, the pain is gone in real time. Well, as you said, a very interesting weekend for Beltway boxers. Actually, Saturday night, we had two of our undefeated competitors competed this past weekend. Both lost for the very first time. And a local boxer who's been, I won't say he's been struggling, but he's been competing and he's been trying and working, and he finally got a break here this past weekend and had a big upset over the weekend as well. First, we go to the Save Mart Arena in Fresno, California, and that's where Waldorf, Maryland, super lightweight Mike Reed. He lost by second round TKO to undefeated Jose Ramirez of Avenal, California. And I tell you, Reed had everything against him in this bout that was televised live by ESPN. He was going into the Hornets' Nest, a sold-out crowd who came to see Jose Ramirez. In fact, so much so that they actually put the World Light Heavyweight Championship bout before Ramirez's bout on this card. That's how big he was in that situation. Ramirez was packing the house, no question about that. He came out, he was very good. I mean, Ramirez was a very solid competitor. Reed tried to engage with him, but the physicality of Ramirez, I think that was the big key in this, and it just proved to be too much. He landed solid left hooks to Reed's body. Reed would knock down the first minute of the second round. Ramirez's follow-up barrage forced referee Jack Reese, to stop the contest at 1:43 of the second round. Now, Reed disagreed with the stoppage, and I can understand why. He's a competitor. That was only, I think, the second time he's been knocked down. The first time was that bout against Ramesses Gill way back in 2013. But in all honesty, I just think Reed had no shot in this situation. He really was not fighting back. He was taking punches and dodging and doing all that, but he was not throwing anything back. And I think Jack Reed really had no choice but to stop the bout, unfortunately. Reed didn't throw any punches during that final barrage. So that was a tough break. So tough loss for Mike Reed, his first pro loss. He's 23-1 now, 12 KOs. Ramirez made another defense of his WBC Continental America Super Lightweight Championship. He will now go fight on for the vacant WBO world title. That's one of the titles that Terrence Crawford vacated after he moved up to welterweight. And Ramirez will more than likely fight for that world title. Reed is still in the hunt. I mean, this is only his first loss. Wasn't his best performance by any means, but I think he is young enough to bounce back. He's good enough to bounce back, and I think he will bounce back in this situation. Ramirez, by the way, is now 21-0, 16 KOs. So tough break for Mike Reed. And I think the same can be said for Glenn Dezurn Jr. Glenn Dezurn out of Baltimore, Maryland, super featherweight. He dropped an 8-round unanimous decision to Jesse Angel Hernandez of Fort Worth, Texas. That was at the Nassau Veterans Memorial Coliseum in Uniondale, Long Island, New York. Now, Dezurn has admittedly said he was not at his best performance. His wife basically said the same thing. Franchon Cruz Dezurn said he wasn't at his best. He lost by scores of 79-73, 78-74, and 77-75. This is on the undercard of the Daniel Jacobs Luis Arias card. And really not a whole lot of people wrote on this bout. I don't know why, but it was hard to get a lot of details on this card. But just going by what Glenn Dezurn said, he was not at his best in this situation. So he lost the bout. He has no excuses for that. Dezurn falls for the first time, as we said. He's 9-1-1 now with 6 KOs. Hernandez rises to 10-1, 7 KOs. And again, Dezurn's in a good situation. Like I said, he's a fan-friendly fighter. One report I did see about this bout is that Dezurn was competing in the situation, but Hernandez just was a better boxer on this night. That's what it came down to, basically. So Dezurn once again falls to 9-1-1, 6 KOs, and he'll bounce back very strong down the road. Now, indeed, the big shocker that took place in Hockinson, Delaware, at the Hockinson Powell Center, where late sub Kevin the Scarecrow Womack Jr. out of Baltimore, he scored a major upset, knocking out Joey Tiberi Jr. on his own self-promoted card. He has a promotional company called Night Night Promotions, and it was Joey Tiberi Jr. who went Night Night. He's out of Newark, Delaware, and Womack Jr. knocked him out in the first round. Womack, who took the bout on just 48 hours notice. I mean, he was scheduled to fight someone else. Womack took the bout, and he went on to drop Tiberi 3 times en route to the win. No official word on stoppage. I think the stoppage was actually, now I think about it, at 2:31 of the first round. Referee Dave Braslow did our own Dave Braslow did this bout. And Womack captured the USBU, the United States Boxing Union, America's junior welterweight title, believe it or not, with this win. Womack is now 8-14-4, 6 KOs, obviously the biggest win in his pro career. And Tiberi falls to 15-3, 8 KOs. Now, Tiberi does not seem to do well against boxers from Baltimore. Back in 2014, in May of 2014, Tiberi dropped a 6-round unanimous decision to Terrell Samuel. That was in Dover, Delaware. So that was a tough break there. So again, a big win for Kevin the Scarecrow Womack Jr. And he once again scored a major upset, knocking out Joey Tiberi Jr. I believe the time was 2:31 of the first round. Now, getting back to the card featuring Mike Yes Indeed Reed, got to say this. Now, last week we talked about how Alantez Fox's bout, although he lost it to Demetrius Andrade, the bout did very well in the rankings for HBO. Did very, very well. It was the top rated television sports show of the night, of that particular night. It beat out the Game 7 of the American League Championship Series. It beat out 2 big college football games that took place that weekend. Well, the same can be said for the telecast that featured Mike Reed against Jose Ramirez, and also featured Artur Beterbiev winning the IBF Light Heavyweight Championship, defeating Enrico Colling in a 12th round TKO. And it was the second highest rated boxing main event on cable television, second only to Manny Pacquiao when he fought Jeff Horn back on July the 1st in Australia. And the bout featuring Mike Reed was 8th in the situation, in this ranking. The second co-main event, Ramirez versus Reed, averaged an 0.7 meter market average, making it 8th highest ranked boxing event for cable television in 2017. That's pretty nice. The Beterbiev Colling bout had a 0.9 rating. So that beat out such bouts as Terrence Crawford taking on Felix Diaz. That was in May 20th on HBO. You also beat out Shane Mosley against David Toussaint. That was on ESPN back in July 1st. And it beat out HBO's coverage of Vasil Lomachenko against Jason Sosa. That was April 8th, right here at the MGM National Harbor and Casino in Oxon Hill, Maryland. Now, Showtime is not in this list. I don't know why. And it also doesn't include PBC shows on network television. So, again, a big win for the ratings for Reed and Hernandez, and of course Beterbiev and Enrico Colling. And let me just correct myself on the time on that bout. Dave Braslow stopped the bout at 2:27 of the first round between Kevin Womack and Joey Tiberi. 2:27 was the time on that card. So that's the recap of what took place this past week. And again, tough one, but I think you have 2 situations in Dezurn and Reed where you see boxers bounce back in the not too distant future. Now let's take a look at what's going on this week. A lot going on this week. I tell you, this is going to be interesting to see what happens this week. We have a lot going on, and one of the cards that take place This week will take place on Friday, November 17th. Is an amateur boxing card that'll take place at Michael's 8th Avenue in Glen Burnie, Maryland. This is another Baltimore Boxing Promotions card featuring Jake the Snake Smith, of course, as promoter. And it's a very special card. Now, let me get the boxing out of the way first. It'll be called Who's the Next Shining Star? And among the people on the card, Terrell Boyd scheduled to be on the card. TJ Meininger will battle Tyler Lomax, I think it is, for the East Coast Heavyweight Championship. We've seen Meininger, of course, in the Beltway at the Golden Gloves. He's out of Seaford, Delaware, but I think he trains out of the mainstream street boxing gym in Salisbury, Maryland. So Roshan Chase is on this card, and also Terrell Boyd is on this card, as we've said. But the big thing about this card is really what it represents and what it is there for. This card honors the memory of a lady, but I got her name totally wrong last time. I'm so upset about that. I apologize for that, but I got her name totally wrong last time we talked about this. Her name was Crystal Beard. Crystal Beard. Now, Ms. Beard was diagnosed with triple-negative breast cancer in August of 2016. And it was an extremely aggressive cancer that eventually spread throughout her entire body. She had 6 chemo treatments. She had a double mastectomy in February. However, it wasn't enough, and Ms. Beard passed away on October the 28th, just a couple weeks ago. She was only 37 years old. That's the really sad part about this. And she left behind a 17-year-old daughter, a 7-year-old son, and a 3-month-old grandchild. Now, Ms. Beard did not have life insurance. The father of the children, he lives in Arizona. So children and a grandchild will be cared for by Beard's sister and mother. The family is still looking at a lot of medical bills because, again, she didn't have insurance. And Beard's daughter is hoping to attend college this year because she's a senior in high school. Now, the fight night is going to have a 50-50 raffle and a silent auction. And fans can also donate a block of tickets for the family that can be resold. And so the quote that Jake Smith said is so poignant. I want to read this quote to you. He says, quote, "In all of my years as a promoter working with people and organizations," and yes, Jake Smith does a lot of that. Just did a card for Alan Blywitz, who was a former boxer here in Baltimore, in the Baltimore area. This is the most devastating, he said. Women that should have had many happy and healthy years ahead of her passed away at 37, leaving behind 2 children and a grandchild that face an extremely difficult situation. We will do all we can to raise as much money and awareness as possible while honoring her legacy on the 17th, because nothing in life is guaranteed, and every day you get to enjoy is a blessing. That's a quote from Jake the Snake Smith, and he's going to do more for Miss Beard after the card. So this won't be the last time that you will hear about this, and we'll do all we can here at Boxing Along the Beltway to help out with that. And there's also donation that can be made to Beard's family, and you can go to GoFundMe.com, and it's in memory of Crystal Beard. So you want to make donations out there, but if you want to go, please go. Friday, November 7th. Starts at 8:30 p.m. Tickets for the event starts at $40 and can be purchased by going to www.baltimoreboxing.com /events, or you can call 410-375-9175. That's 410-375-9175. The doors open at 6:30 and the first bout is scheduled for 8:30 p.m. Please go and support that. Once again, in memory of Crystal Beard, who had triple-negative breast cancer and passed away back on October 28th at the age of just 37 years old. That is just sad. No question about that. Now, as far as Saturday is concerned, a lot going on Saturday. Of course, we have the card at the Merrick Recreation Center in Washington, D.C., the Attack Promotions and Putney Promotions card. The one change on that card, as far as we know, is that Devontae Speed Rawls will no longer be taking on Matt Murphy. He'll now be facing Robert Hitman Hill out of Gulfport, Mississippi. He's 7-34-1 with 1 KO. This will be the second straight time that Hill's been in D.C. Back on August 12th, he lost a 4-round unanimous decision to Shingas Khan Tazabai at the Howard Theater. So That's Devontae Speed Rawls' record. I've talked to his people, and they feel they can take on and beat Devontae Speed Rawls. Of course, Rawls is trying to bounce back from a loss himself. He lost to Deion Richardson back in May at Michael St. Avenue. I'm sorry, at the Burns Arena in Baltimore, Maryland. So we'll see what happens there. So that's the only change we have for the American Recreation card. That is going to be at 7 p.m. At the Merrick Recreation Center. We'll try to get on here about 6:55 p.m. We should be able to get there in time from the Coppin State game that takes place early in the day for me. So we're starting year 24 at Coppin State University as a public address announcer, and the Lady Eagles take on Mount St. Mary's that evening. Also coming on this weekend. Actually, before you get to this weekend, let me say this also. Friday, November 17th, Kareem Remo Martin will be competing on a card, and that card will be coming up on Friday night at the Dort Center in Flint, Michigan. He'll take on Cowboy Ryan Carl, and both guys coming off of losses, so they're trying to get back into winning ways on both times. So we'll see what happens there. But Kareem Remo Martin 9-1-1, just 3 KOs, and Carl is 14-1, 9 KOs. So that's be interesting to see what happens there. But Cowboy Ryan Carl takes on Kareem Remo Martin, and that bout will be held once again at the Dort Event Center, and that'll be in Flint, Michigan, and it's supposed to be on Fox Sports 1, FS1, so it may make the telecast. I'm not sure, but if it does, the telecast begins at 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time from Flint, Michigan. So we'll see what happens. Now let's go back to Saturday. A couple events coming up. The Ageless Wonder himself, DeMarcus Chop Chop Corley is back in action, and he'll be on a card at the Crossroads Arena in Corinth, Mississippi on Saturday, November 18th, and he'll have sort of a after his last few bouts, he'll have sort of on paper anyway, almost a night off, so to speak. Not necessarily a night off, but maybe an easier time this time around. He takes on Rynell Griffin out of New Orleans, Louisiana. Griffin is 8-32-2 with 2 KOs. He's coming off a second round TKO loss to Robert Redmond Jr. on October 13th in Humble, Texas. And he'll fight another Beltway boxer. He lost a 6-round unanimous decision to Seth Billups on August 12th at the Masonic Temple in Norfolk, Virginia. Meanwhile, Chop Chop Corley, this will be his 80th professional bout. 80th professional bout. He is 50-28-1 with 28 KOs. He's won 2 straight, including a big win over Vivian Harris, former world champion Vivian Harris. Of course, DeMarcus Corley, former WBO super lightweight champion. He beat Harris in a 10-round unanimous decision on May 20th in Raleigh, North Carolina, and won the vacant UBF All-America's welterweight championship. He's also the UBF international super lightweight champion. And no, I tell you about, he lost that bout. He lost that 10-round unanimous decision to Giovanni Santiago. A lot of people thought he won that bout, though. But anyway, then after he beat Harris, he beat Ramel Lewis in Kingston, Jamaica on July the 12th. So, once again, DeMarcus Corley, 50 wins, 28 losses, just 1 draw. This is his 80th professional bout. Unbelievable. So that'll be Saturday, November 18th at the Crossroads Arena in Corinth, Mississippi. Meanwhile, at the Claridge Hotel and Casino in Atlantic City, New Jersey, Willis the Prophet Lockett out of Tacoma Park, Maryland. His record 15-21-6 with 5 KOs. He'll take on Frederick Soap Julon. Don't ask me why his name is Soap. I do not know. He is 6-0 with 4 KOs. Lockett coming off a win. He won his 6-round split decision over Brandon Spencer back on September 2nd in Augusta, Georgia. And he returns to the Claridge Hotel Casino, where he lost a 6-round unanimous decision to Mike Hilton on August the 5th. Meanwhile, Frederick Julon makes his 3rd straight appearance at the Claridge Hotel. He's won back-to-back 6-round TKOs. His last one was against Talik Taylor on August 19th. And before that, he won a 6-round TKO over Jose Valderrama That was on June the 10th. So Wills Lockett taking on Freddie Julian. Wills Lockett, the Prophet out of Tone Park, Maryland. Once again, 15, 21, and 6, 5 KOs. Freddie Julian out of New York City. He is, I'm not sure if he was born in France, but his nationality is French, and he's 6-0, 4 KOs. So those are the bouts that are taking place this coming weekend. Of course, once again, we'll be live, hopefully live, as all goes well, at the Merrick Recreation Center in Washington, D.C. on Saturday, November the 18th. Now, finally, just wanted to pass on a word. A guy who has been a matchmaker for King's Promotions for a few months, did a few of the cards here in the Beltway region. I guess he did a couple of boxes over the last couple of years. I know he did some bouts for Michael Fester Fox, and he and Ross Malavinsky kind of shared dudes, but I think he did the majority of the matchmaking for King's Promotions and cards not only here but all around the country. A guy named Desmond Hammond passed away. Now, to tell you the truth, I did not know him very well. I didn't know him much at all. I didn't get a chance to really sit down and talk to him. Everyone who has talked to him, and that includes my partner Juan Marshall, says he was a very good guy. And I have no reason to doubt that, of course. But he passed away at a pretty young age, and that's the sad part about this as well. But our deepest condolences to the family, deepest condolences to Marshall Kaufman and his family. Of course, I believe he was the nephew of Marshall Kaufman. I mean, he was a cousin of his son Travis Kaufman, and that's just sad. It really is. He I believe he had cancer, and I know he fought that pretty hard over the last year or so. So tough loss in the boxing community. We've had a number of tough losses over the last few months. I mean, I've lost so many people personally. Nat Williams and of course Bernard Roach, and we also lost, we said, Jerry Peterson, the stepfather of Thomas Top Dog Williams Jr. It's been a tough year. And it gets tougher and tougher with every year. No question about that, because we have some great people in this Beltway region, and when one of us leaves, it just leaves, I should say. It gets very tough, and it's hard to process every now and again. It really is. So once again, our condolences to the family of Desmond Hammond, who was again the matchmaker for King's Promotions for a few years. That will do it here for another edition of Beltway Boxing News and Notes. Remember, Boxing on Beltway Boxing News and Notes brought to you by Real Time Pain Relief. And by the way, before we get into it, we have come to the conclusion, I assume, that UndisputedBrand.com no longer exists. Because for the longest time, they have been the co-sponsor or the sponsoring part of our Boxing on Beltway post-fight wrap-up show. But I recently went to their website. The website does not exist. The phone number has changed for the people who run UndisputedBrand.com. We're assuming right now, until we get further notice, that they are no longer in business. So that means that everything that we do here at Boxing on the Beltway on the podcast, on the Boxing on the Beltway Google app for Android, and on Spreaker.com and iHeartRadio.com, well, the sole sponsor will be Real Time Pain Relief. So I'll let you know about that. Now, if you do want to sponsor us on Boxing on the Beltway Google app for Android and on the post-fight wrap-up show, you can email me at beltwayboxing@hotmail.com. Once again, that's beltwayboxing@hotmail.com. And once again, please subscribe to the Boxing on Beltway pages on Spreaker.com and iHeartRadio.com. If you are an iOS listener, tell your friends to download the free Boxing on Beltway Google app for Android, and you can get we have more than 230 hours of archive content that you can download for free. You can listen to for free. So you're not going to get too much of a better deal than that. So just let you know that situation. Once again, Beltway Boxing News and Notes brought to you by Real Time Pain Relief. Go to freepainoffer.com, buy $10 worth of Real Time Pain Relief. You get a free $10 tube of Real Time Pain Relief. Rub it on. The pain is gone in real time. I'm Gary Digital Williams. Hope to see you on Saturday, November 18th from the Merrick Recreation Center in Southeast Washington, D.C. We get underway at about 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. Until then, thanks for listening. Always remember to keep supporting the best boxing in the world, the Boxing along the Beltway. Thanks for listening. Take care.